Joe Lombardi, offense coordinator for the Chargers, new offense coordinator for the Chargers, he's predicting a big year for Mike Williams, and he said, I think that there will be some natural production that comes his way because of the nature of the offense. They're going to run a similar system to New Orleans and what Sean Payton ran, and Michael Thomas in that system was the X receiver. Joe Lombardi has said Mike Williams will be the X receiver, which means he's going to be like the number one guy
Keenan
that they go to.
Is going to be like
I think he'll be the slot.
Sanders, like the slot receiver.
I think he'll play more of the slot, or maybe I think it's the X and Y, right? So he'll probably be the Y.
Okay.
Joe Lombardi also said, I see a big role for him, and he added this also. If I were a betting man, I'd bet on nice numbers coming from him on the stats sheet, that's for sure. So my first question to you guys is, do you think Mike Williams is going to have a breakout season? Last time he had 1,000 yards receiving was in 2019. He had 1,001, barely cracked it. And also, Justin Herbert had an amazing rookie season. And I've been seeing these takes on the internet lately that are saying that Herbert is going to regress in his second season because his numbers under pressure and how great he was under pressure is unsustainable. So my second question is, do you think Herbert is going to regress in his second season as well?
Okay, the first question, I think Mike Williams will have a breakout season. Dude, asking two questions. I think because when you look at the system, you look at his size. Mike Williams is a big receiver, big hands. He's strong. He can jump with the best of them. I think I had to last night go dig up some Mike Williams highlights to see what he was really about. He's really a guy who can really jump up and get it. So I think with Justin Herbert being as elite as he is, putting Mike Williams in a great position to succeed, I definitely think he can do it. He has the ability to do it, just has to stay healthy, stay on the field, and make the catches. As on to the second question, it really depends on what we say is the digression for Justin Herbert. I think if he has an efficient season and he throws less touchdowns, but he throws less interceptions, people are going to look at it as he digress. But I think depending on how the season plays out, if they make the playoffs, but his stats aren't as alarming, because rookie year, he put up some amazing record-breaking stats, so it's hard to sometimes replicate that in year two, but it doesn't mean you necessarily digress as a player.
Regress.
So I think, so you my guy, bro.
That's why I was talking about the reviews and the big words, man.
Yeah. But yeah, like to regress as a player. So I think just looking at the season and the way they go out throughout the season, I think if he just performs as well as he performs and they make the playoffs, I don't think you could say he regressed depending on the numbers. But like I said, it all depends and it all varies. But I don't think he would, because I think he was just so dominant his rookie year. But he showed that he's literally here to stay. And with the offense being as good as it is and their new offensive coordinator, I think he's gonna honestly he might do better than what he did last year because he's just that great.
So if Mike Williams doesn't break out this year, then when is he? Truthfully, I mean, this is going to be his fifth year in the NFL. Year one, I wouldn't say it counts. I mean, he only started one game, really didn't get that much burn. But year two, played 16, only started 5. Year 3, played 15, started 15.
So year 3 is when it really...
Year 3, he actually got his recognition, at least on the Chargers. And I'm pretty sure Keenan Allen missed some time in that year too. But regardless of that fact, has 1,001 yards in 2019. In 2020, has almost 400 less yards with a significantly better QB. And do I understand that Keenan Allen is the number 1 on that squad? Of course I do. But that being said, it's not like Mike Williams was projected to be a bum. He was the number 7 overall pick in I want to say it's 2017.
He was supposed to be what DeAndre Hopkins became.
He's a Clemson guy.
Correct. I mean, listen, Clemson, wide receiver you. That being said, he's been underwhelming for his career. And I look at a guy like Calvin Ridley, who was taken later in the first round, and he's already surpassed anything that Mike Williams has done in his career. Mike Williams had a 10-touchdown season in 2018, but then had 2 the following year when he had over 1,000 yards. Then he had 5 this past season. And you have Herbie, who is the best. I mean, Rivers was amazing, but this is the best QB that he's going to play with for a long time. And to go to your question about Herbert regress.
Did you call him Herbie?
Herbie.
A lot of Chargers fans call him
really?
that. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that's lit.
Mad funny.
That's lit.
Herbie.
You mentioned how it's unsustainable to keep up the the numbers that he had
That's
when
the
under
argument.
pressure.
That's the argument. Yep.
And then you look at who they picked up. Corey Linsley, they just got from the Packers. They picked up
Matt Fowler from the Steelers.
Rashawn Slater in the first round this year. And it's not like they didn't do things to address that line. What they did was protect Herbert so he can actually have time to make throws. And that's going to only benefit his game more. So if anything, it's possible we see an increase in his stats. I mean, he had 4,300 yards, 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. There's no reason he can't throw for 46 and 35. He's only going to get better.
If the run game is as effective as I think it could be, I think Herbert's stats would be more along the lines of like 4K yards, definitely, but more so like
30 and 8?
30 touchdowns, maybe 7, 8 interceptions. If he's really slinging it, then maybe 36 touchdowns and a little bit more interceptions.
One thing I'll say to that, too, is where I agree with that point, Eckler's also a really, really great receiving back also.
Exactly.
And
Yep.
so Herbie has so many different looks is that you lose Hunter Henry, which hurts.
But they got Jared Cook.
You get Jared Cook. You have Mike Williams, who the Chargers are actually looking at to be a true number 2 receiver on their squad. And it's like if Mike Williams doesn't take this leap, you let him go. You have to let him go.
Yeah,
it's
I
like
agree.
you have Godwin who has shown out in less time than Mike Williams. You have Ridley, like I was mentioning, who has significantly outperformed Mike Williams up until this point. And then you have Keenan Allen to the opposite side. And obviously Keenan Allen is one of the better receivers in the league, one of the more underrated players in the NFL. And it's like, how could you think that he's going to regress when this team's only improved in their one spot that they really needed to? So I think it's going to be an interesting year for the Chargers for sure.
So in 2019, Mike Williams had 1,001 yards
The one
on
is killing me.
It's funny.
49 receptions, and he had pretty much 20 yards per reception. In 2020, he had 756 yards and had 48 receptions. So he had one less reception than in 2019 and had 350 fewer yards. Mike Williams, first of all, has to stay healthy consistently because last year he was in and out. He did play 15 games. He only started 11 because he was in and out with injuries, and he often left games because he was hurt. But you're right. I think this argument that people are making against Herbert regressing is kind of ludicrous. I can understand it because he was so great under pressure. I mean, Justin Herbert had a 99.4 passer rating under pressure, which is phenomenal. Which means that, I mean, this guy under pressure was throwing dimes. But he also had a 97.7 quarterback rating when kept clean. So that tells me that when he has a good pocket, he's still great. It's not like he's great under pressure and horrible with the clean pocket. Then there's cause for concern. But he was good with the clean pocket. Now he's going to have a cleaner pocket with better offensive linemen. And throwing these passes under pressure were absolute dimes. I mean, you look at Tampa Bay when he was blitzed. They sent the house and he just floated that one up. I forgot who it was, but he just floated that one up.
Yep.
We've seen him throw dimes to Jalen Guyton on Monday Night Football against the Saints. He was throwing absolute dimes under pressure. If he regresses, I don't think he's going to regress to the level of a Herbert rookie of a Baker rookie year to Baker second year.
Right.
Okay.
That was a true regression.
I'm with you there. That's a good.
I don't
comparison.
think Herbert is going to go from 30 touchdowns, 4,000 yards to 18 touchdowns, 3,000 yards. I don't think that. I think if he regresses, it's going to be like 28 touchdowns, 3,800 yards, which is still a phenomenal quarterback season.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson finished with the 97.7 quarterback rating under pressure his first full year as a starter in 2019. In 2020, that rating under pressure dropped to 79.2.
Damn.
But in 2020, he won an MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Or 2019. Yeah, okay. 20 his first full year as a starter. Okay, 2019 was MVP season.
Talking about Lamar, correct?
Yeah, so this past year was his quote-unquote regression, and Lamar still had a fantastic season.
No doubt.
Deshaun Watson led the league in under pressure passing rating in his first full season as a starter in 2018 at 88.2. That dropped to 76.6 in 2019.
Still a good year.
Deshaun Watson still had a great year. So even if that number drops for Justin Herbert, he's still going to have a phenomenal year. And the difference between Herbert and Watson is that Watson has always had a horrible offensive line.
Correct.
He's never been kept clean. Herbert, that's going to change this season. Lamar Jackson has always had a great offensive line, but the dip in his numbers can be attributed to that run-heavy offense.
And lack of weapons.
Exactly. With Justin Herbert, that's not a problem. He's going to have weapons on the outside, and Allen Williams. That wide receiver number 3 is still yet to be seen, but Jared Cook, good tight end, and Austin Eckler, like, he'll be fine. He has weapons in bunches. Yeah, maybe N'Keal Harry. He has weapons in bunches, so I don't think Herbert will regress. And now to the first question with Mike Williams. I think Mike Williams can have a breakout year in terms of just having 1K plus yards. I think he'll have a great season, not a breakout year because I know who Williams is as a receiver. I think he'll have 1K yards if he stays healthy because he's going to be that X receiver and he's going to get a lot of targets. And Justin Herbert likes to throw a lot of jump balls. And last season, I don't know why, but there were a lot of times where the Chargers were in the red zone and they didn't target Mike Williams in the red zone that often. They went to other options like Donald Parham. Like, they went to the most absurd options when you have a 6'5" guy in Williams. So I think,
dude.
And now there's very few people. I will give Mike Williams his credit. There are few people in the NFL better at the jump ball than Mike Williams.
yeah, so when you take that into consideration, I think that Justin Herbert, in the nature of this offense, Mike Williams will have a better year than last year. I think he'll have 1K yards. And I don't think Herbert is going to regress the way that people are trying to make it seem like.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think he's gonna go from Baker year 1 to Baker year 2. If anything, it's Lamar first few years as starter to Lamar in 2020. It's not gonna be huge.
Dude, I'm watching these Herbert highlights. The throws he can make on the run. I've seen maybe Rodgers do this, Russ, Mahomes. That's it. These throws are right on the money every time.
You really watch highlights?
Yeah, I am. Mike Williams just caught a touchdown, ironically. Oh, my God. No,
so you
this
think the
dude's
Chargers
special.
make the playoffs?
I was just about to ask you that.
The hard thing about it is that I just don't trust the defense.
PFF ranks them as the 20th best roster in the NFL.
As a whole, I completely understand.
That's a tough division
I
right
kind
now.
of disagree with that, though.
It's just that I would disagree if I could trust that Derwin's going to play a full 17. If you could tell me right now Derwin will play a full 17, they will easily surpass that 20th ranking by far because you need that secondary help, especially with how versatile he is. He could play corner against the number 1 receiver on the other the opposing team, or he could go play safety and be that killer.
Barring health, where you got them?
Barring health, they can make a 7th seed.
I think that they're not going to beat Kansas City, I think.
No way. No way.
You know, I think Kansas City is a lot to be the best team in the AFC West. Because of that, I think my prediction for them is I think I have them at 11-6 or 10-7, one of those. Okay. But I have them making the playoffs.
I think
the division's going to be tough this year.
The conference is going to be
for sure.
tough.
But that's what I'm saying. Our division is very good.
Oh, you guys aren't that good.
He's a Broncos fan, by the way.
They know. They know. No, I'm just kidding, obviously. But we're obviously going to talk about the Broncos in a few, so I'll wait.
You think? Yeah, I got them making the playoffs.
What seed?
Same with yours.
7?
What did you do that changed that, made you
I had to just like quickly throw in my head who I feel like is better than them.
You did it in like
it's
2
like
seconds.
If you want to look at the AFC, Chiefs, Browns, Ravens, Bills,
Patriots.
They could make the wild card. So yes,
Miami.
I like Miami over New England personally.
I like the Chargers over Miami.
Hard. This is where it gets tough.
Forgot the Titans,
the Jets.
Colts.
I think Titans are there. Sorry, bro. I'm not going to throw in your Jets. No disrespect.
You said the Jets?
Sorry, bro. And then Broncos, Chargers.
How do you say all those before the Colts?
Then I'm gonna take away
your team out.
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna do that.
You're annoying.
Ooh, you're right about that.
I am.
You're right about that.
Take your team out.
No. You're right about the squad you named. Definitely not taking the Broncos out. Ooh, it's gonna be. It should be close. That's 7. I'm telling you, they're gonna fight for the 7.
It's gonna get wild in the AFC.
For real. AFC is a lot better than it has been in previous years.
The Jets making it? You said?
No, they're not. Yeah, I'm just joking.
Not the worst team in the league, though.
No.
No, it's us.
Yes.
100% us.